But Portugal have a famous win at the Rugby World Cup, and look what it means.
Look what it means indeed. This is huge. A Tier 2 team playing phenomenal rugby, so well coached by Lajase. Look what it means to them. It's phenomenal. The passion that this Portuguese team have been. They deserve this win. They were the better team overall.
They absolutely deserve it for the sheer resilience, the brilliance at times, the superb rugby that they played for 80 minutes plus. Fiji will live to fight another day. Portugal, look what it means. Look what it means to this team. Can this be a springboard for Portugal to grow and strengthen over the course of the next 4 years, the next Rugby World Cup cycle? An incredible way to finish. Fiji will wonder what has happened, but in truth they were not good enough, and they can only sit back and allow Portugal their deserved celebration. Tears in the stadium, tears on the pitch. This has been an incredible game, an incredible result. Out it goes from their fly half, last kick of the game from Portela to seal a famous win. Jackie, back to you in studio.
Oh, Hugh, catch your breath after that. Look at these scenes. This is incredible. What a finish to the pool stages.
Yeah, it's like unbelievable scenes. And it's just great to see, isn't it? You know, obviously, we spend so much time talking about mismatches and Rugby World Cup, and like, look what it means, you know. There's probably not many nations that are going to have a feeling like that at this Rugby World Cup. And you have to give them, like, I have to sort of play my cards. I was surprised that they were in the World Cup. I didn't realise. And they've been great. If you look back at how they've done, like they had a kick actually to beat Georgia. They give Wales a good game. Wales got a bonus point in the last game, and then they caused Australia a few problems last week. So just full credit to them. It actually started, the rumours coming out of like Ireland camp back in Portugal were that Portugal caused them a lot of problems, and it's kind of something that you heard but you didn't really buy into. We've seen it now. We said at half-time that the chaos that Fiji tried to play with really suited Portugal, and it was just great to watch.
Yeah, it was. And, OK, for Fiji, they can still take away that they still know they're going to the quarterfinals, which is a massive achievement in itself. But let's celebrate the victory first and these moments, because Darren is right. This doesn't happen very often.
It's deadly. Like, it's brilliant. I mean, put yourself in those players' position, right? You kind of... They've had a rocky road to get to the World Cup, and then to set out, like, the goals of that group was probably to win a World Cup game, and they probably targeted the Georgia game, and to do it in the way that they did in a game like this, with so much that was kind of permutation stuff that was on the table for Fiji as well, and a lot, like me included here, a lot of us here probably, you know, we thought this is pretty much a done deal for Fiji starting the game. Like, it's huge. And then for all those people in the crowd, I'm sure there's tons of family members there as well. The sacrifice that a lot of these players would have had to make over the last while. It's just the sense of achievement and pride that they can take in that is absolutely massive.
And Darren, you're right. They would have come in, and both of you have said they would have targeted one win. I don't know if this was the one they were thinking. You know, no. The Georgia game is definitely the one they had their eyes on. This is huge bonus territory for what it means. Yeah,
totally. And as I said, I think they had a kick in the last minute to beat Georgia. They end up getting a draw. And for Portugal to rock up and, like, genuinely, I have to hold my hands up at this day where they were making up the numbers in this competition for me. And as it turns out, like, they've only actually lost twice, which I'm sure if you look through every team in the tournament, there's probably not many teams that can say that. As I said, against Australia and Wales, they handled themselves really, really well. And look, just credit to them. It's, as I say, I feel like we talk about Tier 2 and how they're set up to fail a lot and the mismatches in the World Cup, and we can't have more teams. That narrative, we talk about that a lot because it's true. So it's just really refreshing to come and see a team like Portugal in that style of rugby produce a result like that.
And let's call a spade a spade. A lot of it is lip service. You know, it really is, because it's, oh, let's try to help them, let's try to help them. But actually the main issue is let's get on with the business end of the World Cup. But these are World Cup moments that will actually be remembered for a very long time.
That group of players there will never forget that day. That will stand to them, that will stand to all their friends, the local game back in Portugal. The knock-on effect that will have across that whole community will be massive. And you hope that it builds momentum for them. It's like being in a position where you're like myself and Kavy being there, where you set these kind of goals, and sometimes very lofty goals that you have, and that would have been a big goal for them. It's just the sense of pride that they can take away from executing on a plan, and all the sacrifice worthwhile. It's great, and it's great for World Rugby as well to have an upset like that in the competition. And then for Fiji, like, what a warning shot. You know what I mean? It's like, you took your foot off. You were really, really loose. You weren't accurate. And this side came who played you off the park.
Spare a thought for Eddie Jones, who must have been doing a
Never.
should I stay or should I go now? It was the most bizarre situation, because had Portugal kept the ball in play and ran in and scored another converted try, Fiji are going home.
It was so bizarre, even for the last sort of 10 days, thinking of the Australians, training away, kind of half convincing themselves they're going to be playing England, knowing they're not. And like I was sort of picturing them like at the airport this evening, wondering should they go through immigration, shouldn't they?
Eddie would have been first through.
And yeah, like it's with Fiji, it's just hard to know. I think because I found myself rooting for them more and more because I love them. I love the way they play, and let's be honest, we all want to see them beat England in the quarter-final. So the more you root for them, the more I found them increasingly frustrating, and the more it worries me is that they're just not what we thought they were. They had a good result against England. The more I think back to Wales, as I said this at half-time, were they great against Wales, or did they make an absolute mockery of it? Australia were diabolical, and then I think if Fiji played Georgia last week, they were really, really poor. And yeah, it's more than a warning shot. It's It just feels like it's changed the dynamic of that quarter-final. Watching that, it's hard to see how Fiji are going to beat England. We know they can, but watching that, you're kind of wondering how.
Yeah. So, a hugely emphatic win for Portugal in the end. Left it all to the very, very end, but it was absolutely brilliant stuff from them. It sees them getting some points on the board, but it's Wales through to the quarterfinals, as we knew, and Fiji, by the skin of their teeth, are also in. But the big story of the day, in spite of Fiji going through, is Portugal. So let's hear from their captain, Jose Lima.
Jose, I can see that this means the absolute world to these fans, to you, your families, and all of the hard work that you put in over the past 4 years.
Yeah, of course. You can see our fans, our team deserve that victory so much. The last 3 games we missed for a little bit, for little details, and I think today we show the world we can compete at this level and we can win games at that level as well.
I was talking with David Gerrard just before the start of the game. You were super tired coming into this game, but you still managed to find something to get this win, this first ever win at a Rugby World Cup.
I think it's all come from the heart. When you are tired, you have to think all the stuff you do before and get with your partners and say, let's go, let's do it. And that's what we said in half-time. So I think we really deserve today, and look, this show is unbelievable. Just a little word for the guys who don't play this World Cup. The guys being awesome with us. 4 guys can't have a chance to play with us. So just a little word for them, because they're part of the team as well, and they help us to have a win today as well.
And what about the veterans, Mike Tadger, Samuel Marcus, their contribution?
Yeah, of course, they're great players. The guys have a lot of experience. For a team play like us, it's so important to have that kind of play with us. So we have to thank them as well, because they help us a lot.
Bravo, obrigado.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, you can see how much he enjoyed it. And look at this. This is the full-time scenes. As we talked about, something that they will remember for the rest of their lives. This Portuguese team, maybe not going to the quarterfinals, but they've certainly won the hearts of so many rugby fans who have watched this one with absolute pride and joy. And in spite of that, they're going out of the World Cup, and Fiji are marching to the quarterfinals. But yeah, it's definitely meant a lot to the Portuguese. And I think anybody who watched that second half has enjoyed it. It's a pity in a way that's the last time we'll see Portugal, because they've had a lot to offer. But Fiji, they go forward now. What sort of a state are they in after a game like that, Darren?
I was hoping you were going to throw that one to Jamie. I'm really, and again, the broken record, basics, like just until... the the party's over now in the Rugby World Cup, right? It's knockout, it's proper knockout rugby. It's quarterfinals to go. You have to be good to go, and like that's a great example again of basics. Like it's so sluggish. They try and hold the player up. Then when the referee calls tackle, nobody's bouncing to get into that pillar position. No urgency, and it's brilliant to see the Portuguese players sniping. But that level of defence is just not going to win knockout games at the Rugby World Cup as much as we all wanted to.
Yeah. Well, look, let's take a quick look at what that quarter-final lineup looks like then now, because we know definitively England will play Fiji. That'll be on Sunday along with France and South Africa. On Saturday, though, Wales against Argentina and Ireland against New Zealand. And that is an interesting quarter-final lineup, Jamie. Take your pick at all of them. So many of them are a toss of a coin.
Literally all of them are a toss of a coin in my eyes. And it's mad sitting here as an Irish supporter saying, we asked for New Zealand, we got them, and then you're like, oh, I don't know. And then you look across the group, you look at France, South Africa game, England, Fiji, you don't know what you're going to get. We know what we're going to get from England in terms of style and play. Wales, Argentina, and just making it incredibly hard to beat them. Outside of the Ireland game there, I think the pick is going to be France, South Africa, and I think the winner of the Ireland-New Zealand game will be playing, like in a final, the winner of the France-South Africa game.
Is that how you see it still too?
Completely agree. I think the downside of the draw, we keep talking about it, apologies for everyone else who's sick talking about it, is that good teams are going to get early. The upside of it is that we've got 4 cracking games.
Yeah.
All 4 of them, I think, are... Jim and I are having the conversation off air. I think Wales, Argentina and South Africa, France are literal. You could toss a coin. It's down to weather conditions, selection, injuries. I think Ireland are sort of 60-40 slight favourites, and I think you'd be mad to pick Fiji as a favourite going into that game.
Fun times ahead. We are looking forward to it. What a cracking way to round off the pool stages, though. That is all we have time for, though, I'm afraid. My thanks to Darren and to Jamie for their company, and we will be back for those quarterfinals next weekend. We are counting down the time. We'll see you then.